Hey there folks, Rel here. Today we'll be taking a look at the free-to-play first-person and third-person sci-fi shooter by Red 5 Studios named Firefall. Now Firefall is a massively multiplayer online shooter where you can play as a mercenary of sorts who does missions for the Accord, which is the main militant organization or the good guys, in an effort to push back invaders called the Chosen, or the bad guys. The Chosen are bent on not destroying perhaps, but maybe absorbing the entire planet through a process called the melding. Both the Chosen and the melding are very tangible elements of the game, so you'll be constantly doing battle with them in a very open sort of sandbox style world. Chosen strike teams will drop in and try to capture territory like outposts or towns, and it's your job to defend or reclaim these locations. Meanwhile, the melding will slowly devour the entire island unless it's pushed back. The game is very go at your own pace, unlike traditional MMOs where you do this, you do that, you progress, you level up, and then you get onto the harder stuff. So there's a vast separation between the lower level players and the upper level players. For Firefall, this isn't really the case. There's still a leveling system, there's still a crafting system, and even more difficult content, but you can pretty much go anywhere and do anything right from the start. Firefall makes it easy to drop in and help allies wherever you are. When an event is taking place nearby, you'll be notified via radio.
The court have sent me the objective via SIN. Patching you in. Get the target and bring it to the ARC port pylon outside.
Whether it's a small event like a group of players gathering resources by defending a drill device called the Thumper, or a bigger event like an incursion of Chosen bent on taking over an outpost, you'll always have something to do. And this is really refreshing because if I only have 10 minutes to play, I want to be able to pop online and actually get something accomplished instead of being forced into a huge time commitment in order to make progress towards anything. On the other hand, if you do have some time to commit, you can do an instance, or you can track down a larger event, or you can even queue up for PvP. The PvP in Firefall is a big element of the game as well, but it focuses on team versus team arena style play opposed to ganking or killing other players in the open world. There are a handful of different game types for PvP, ranging from team deathmatch to point control style games. But one thing I particularly like about Firefall is that it's not an easy game. There are parts of the game that are toned down, of course, but for the most part, you've got to be pretty decent at first-person shooters in order to stay alive in Firefall. Or at the very least, you will want to bring a friend or two along. Constantly, you'll find yourself ambushed by a huge number of bugs, or Chosen, or dinosaur-looking things with all sorts of unique abilities, strengths, and weaknesses, which is really great because it's difficult to find an MMO that will challenge you on a personal level to the degree that Firefall does. And what's probably most important is that being a shooter isn't a sub-element of the game. The shooting and movement mechanics are smooth as butter, and it reminds me a lot of the older arena-style shooters, like Unreal. And this is really cool because no matter how gorgeous you make a game, how many world events you throw in, or what kind of loot you get, none of that is going to make for a good game unless you nail the controls first, which is something that I really think the team at Red 5 did very well. The crafting and progression systems are very important to the game, and that's where practically all of your weapons and armor and utilities and vehicles and whatever else come from. There is, of course, a microtransaction model involved, just like any other modern free-to-play game, but you're paying for cosmetic and convenience items only. Normally, the crafting process takes time. You load something up on the workbench and then it gets built over minutes or over hours, and you leave it running in the background while you go do other things. Now, if you want to spend red beans, which are the real money currency, you can immediately finish the item that was being created instead of having to wait, so it's convenience. But you still need to go out, you still need to harvest all the resources, you need to kill the bad guys, and you need to generally play the game. So by no means is it pay to win. Progression is a little bit different in Firefall in that you have access to 5 basic classes, which all have different roles in the game. You have the Dreadnought, the Assault, the Engineer, the Biotech, and the Recon. But there are also advanced classes that are derivatives of their basic counterparts. And these advanced classes have access to different signature equipment and focus on different fighting styles. For example, instead of the basic recon class, which has access to automatic battle rifles and is sort of a jack of all trades, you can unlock the Nighthawk to become a more sniper-oriented class, or the Raptor to become a more support-oriented class, but both are derivatives of the recon. In order to unlock an advanced class, you can buy it outright for red beans, or you can just level up your basic classes and unlock them over time. But either way, even when you unlock an advanced class, you're still going to have to craft your signature weapons and armor and everything else that isn't common pool. From a graphics standpoint, the game looks really good. There's a day-night cycle that adds a lot of atmosphere to your encounters, and you're not getting bombarded constantly by bloom effects and more cheesy ways to make the game look good. Firefall has actually been in beta for a long time now. I was actually at PAX East in 2011, I think, when I got my beta key, and since then a lot of aspects of the game have been completely redone, like a lot. The UI got a revamp, the crafting system got a revamp, the way your character progresses was completely redone, and a whole lot of content was continually added and refined. But with the good comes the bad as well. The game still has a lot of bugs. I haven't found anything game-breaking, but I found plenty that are just annoying or hilarious. And also there's a lot of empty space on the continent, and this probably annoys me a little bit more than it should. I mean, you can always drum up a fight practically anywhere at any time by just dropping a thumper, which is going to immediately cause a point defense sort of minigame to happen. But there are still a lot of vacant buildings and areas at any given time. And the reason for this seems to be that missions will spawn in random areas, so an empty underground laboratory might eventually become a hub for a data capture mission. But when it's not being used for a mission, it's extremely quiet. You know, it's good for someone who likes to explore, but I can't help but wish that I was stumbling upon more random enemies just wandering around inside. And the last thing that I want to talk about is both a blessing and a curse. Now, there is a tutorial in the game right now, but it's very bare bones. It shows you how to move, how to fight, and how to use abilities. But after that, you're dropped into the game and have to figure out everything else by yourself. And I like this sort of thing personally because I like to learn the ins and outs of a game by myself. It's just something I enjoy doing. But for a newer player who doesn't have that same sort of mentality or patience, I can imagine that things are going to be a bit frustrating for them. Overall, Firefall is a great game and it's been around for a long time, though it's finally just now coming out of beta, and whether or not that's the smartest decision, given how many bugs are still running rampant, I'm not really sure. But all in all, the game is free. It's easy to drop in, play for a bit, then log off if you're in a time crunch. There's a lot of depth to the gameplay and the character progression. It has a solid story, a cohesive theme, and again, it's free to play. Thanks very much, folks. Rel signing off.